People are going to ask me, and you're probably going to ask me, it's been 10 years. What's it like? Well, it's like I haven't seen my son for 10 years. Nothing more than that. I haven't seen my son for 10 years.
Lelpi is a retired New York City firefighter from Brooklyn. His son Jonathan, also a firefighter, was killed in the South Tower of the World Trade Center on 9/11. After 3 months of constant searching, Jonathan's body was found, and Lee came to carry his son out.
Jonathan was in a basket, Stokes basket. I went over, I did what I had to do with my son. I wasn't going to open up the body bag, but I did want to feel him. And then in our tradition, and I think it's probably all over, but in our tradition in the fire department, we carry out our own, no matter who finds him. So myself and some of the men from Squad 288 carried Jonathan out, brought him home where he belongs.
For 9 solid months, Lee spent 12 hours every day atop the rubble, trying to reunite families with their loved ones.
You come here and you're going to get a feeling of sadness because you're looking at a grave of thousands of people. We're coming here saying we want to dig in this grave to find your loved ones, you know. So when we don't find your loved ones, our loved ones, it's very frustrating. That's the feeling. Today's going to be the day. We want this to be a good day. And a good day for us, a good day for us is to find people.
Lee became involved in the development of the 9/11 Memorial, which will open to the public on September the 12th, the day after the 10th anniversary.
We have to move forward. There is no question we have to move forward. But it also shows a lot about our country, about our resilience. We're putting a memorial here, we're putting a museum here, we're going to remember the folks, and then we're going to surround it with beautiful buildings to replace those that were destroyed because of hatreds.
With only a few months to go until the memorial opens, Lee took us on a tour of the site to show us what the rebirth of Ground Zero means to him.
Okay, come on, walk this way. When they started building, you could sense something. But what struck me is when they put the trees in. So for me, this is beautiful. These trees mean something. This is the first time I've been in when it's been blooming. Now, I've looked at it before, only because it's a big tree compared to the other trees. Isn't that great? You know, that people keep talking about the site is coming back to life. Well, one of the big issues about this site here is rebuilding. And I've said it a number of times, we cannot lose sight on why we're rebuilding. At this site, 2,749 people were murdered in a matter of 102 minutes. Murdered. But if we lose sight about what happened at this site, well then shame on us. There are some family members, and you have to understand it, that can't get past 9/11. You know, their moms, dads, sons, daughters were taken away from them in a horrible way. They were dismembered. but you have to get on. You never forget. But if you don't get on, then you're gonna be trapped. When the world comes here, they're gonna have a different feeling. They're gonna leave with a powerful thought of what happened on that day to not only our country, but the world, how it affected the world, by what they're gonna see, feel, and hear inside. It'll be a very powerful place.
Lee takes us to the top of the main tower, One World Trade Center,
Good morning, young fellas.
where a new floor is going up every week.
I can't help but think when I'm in these buildings, it of course brings back the memories of that day. When you're over by the edge and you're looking out, and we were what, 55 floors up maybe? That's a long way up. I think back to those poor people that were 100 floors up, thinking about what those folks experienced on 9/11. Because when you go to the edge of a building and you look down, when you're there, it's kind of like, oh wow, you know?
We're not going to show the terrorists, look what we did, we build them bigger and better. That's ridiculous, that's nonsense. But it's going to show the world that through our resilience, we'll overcome these obstructions that come along. This is the worst disaster in our country's history, and we're up 55 stories. And we're climbing, and we're going to keep climbing. And we're going to show the world that thing about, you know, what we can do here. Floor a week is a normal schedule. You have to, how many men, if you look around right now, how many men are right here right now on this floor? Without any issues, without any problems, a floor a week. Men that were dedicated then, and they're even more dedicated now.
My wife had called and kind of yelling in the phone. Did you hear what happened? Did you hear what happened? I said, no, what happened?
Today, at my direction, the United States launched a targeted operation in Abbottabad, Pakistan. After a firefight, they killed Osama bin Laden and took custody of his body.
It was a bit of a shock for me, my first reaction. Was I don't know where it came from, I just started crying. Just started crying. I took a look out the window of the train, I just looked up, and I said, they got him. We all demand justice, but hopefully the 11th will reflect more on the 10th anniversary, 10 years that we haven't seen our loved ones, our friends, neighbors, relatives. Not so much on revenge. It brings a little bit of comfort knowing that my son came here to do what he loves to do, and that's firefighting, right? So it makes it a little bit easier that he died doing what he loves to do. When the water was flowing, because I've been in there when they tested the waterfalls, water has that soothing effect. I love the water. I stood by that edge and listened, and the water had a sound to it because it's cascading down some almost 30 feet. If you want to hear somebody, there's a good likelihood you're going to hear somebody, because it had a sound to it. Probably because of the way it's on all four sides, so the sounds are bouncing back and forth, right? So it's going to be extremely powerful. And I can't imagine when it's a
a quiet, quiet day, how powerful it's going to be.